What is going on, everyone? My name is the California Cougar, and today I am here to bring you another Survivor review. We are going to be continuing on with the series, this time with the 4th season of the show, Survivor Marquesas. Now, Survivor Marquesas, again, it was the 4th season. It took place out in the Marquesas Islands in French Polynesia, and this season is very polarizing, like heavily polarizing. There's people that love it, and there's people that really hate it. Some people have it ranked in their top 10, others in their bottom 10. It's kind of all over the place when it comes to Survivor rankings. Now, before I get into how I feel about the season, I'm actually going to save that for the end because, and then kind of give you my feelings as I go along as well, because there's a lot to talk. There's not really that much to talk about with this season. I mean, it's just kind of there. So, first of all, the cast. The cast is okay. It's kind of a mixed bag. Of course, I mean, we have people like Hunter, who is a fun pre-merge boot. Gabriel, I thought was a really good pre-merge boot. He clearly wasn't there to play the game. He even said that at one point. You also have characters like Sean Rector, who I thought was really entertaining, really fun. You have Pascal and Nalea. I mean, that little father-daughter type relationship that you had there, kind of like after Roger and Elizabeth from season 2, you had this. And of course, Nalea was nicknamed Sweet Pea because, well, she was a sweetheart. She was arguably the sweetest girl to ever play at the time. And I feel like that might have cost her the game, but we won't really get too much into that because there's not a lot to talk about. And of course you have the Row 2-4, the infamous Row 2-4 with John, Tammy, Zoe, and Robert the General. And you also have Kathy, who is awesome. You have Vesepia, we'll get into her in a little bit. And of course, probably the most famous character of this season. This was the inaugural season of Boston Rob Mariano. And that's probably the best thing about this season, is it introduced us to him. Because I gotta be honest, guys, this season was really boring. And yeah, I'll get into that in a little bit. But yeah, this season was really boring. And okay, we'll start off with the pre-merge. The pre-merge, there's not really too much to remember. I mean, the Hunter boot was cool. And of course you have Gina, who I thought was an okay character. Gabriel was funny. And of course, probably the most memorable thing about the pre-merge was the morning show that the Maramu tribe had. The Maramu tribe was fun. I will say that, even though they got their asses kicked in just about every single challenge. But they were fun. And the morning show, it was like a knockoff news channel type of thing that they were doing. I thought that was fun. You also have the no-nos, just biting everybody out there. As for the location, I mean, it's an island. There's not really much else to say. I mean, although I am curious as to why they haven't gone back there yet, or even somewhere else in French Polynesia. I am a little bit curious about that. But it's an island. There's not too much to say. It's pretty, but I've seen better places before. But yeah, that's really it for the location. But again, let's get back to the moments. So the first 2 boots were kind of lame. Hunter's boot was cool. Gabriel was funny. The morning show. But other than that, that's really it for the pre-merge. I mean, Gina was okay. She got kind of screwed by the swap, as did Rob and Vesepia and Sean. And then once Rob goes, Rob finished 10th this season. A lot of people tend to forget that he didn't even make the jury. And yet he comes back for All-Stars, and then he becomes one of the famous Survivor players of all time. But yeah, he finished 10th in his first season, and a lot of people forget that. But Rob was definitely entertaining while he was there. I mean, his little Godfather confessional that he had was really good. His whole rivalry with Hunter and John, I mean, that was another underrated rivalry that Rob had. Sean Rector was awesome. And then this season also had, arguably the first big flip of the game, and it was pretty much the turning point of the entire season, and that was when Pascal and Nalea decided like after an immunity challenge, which was really stupid for an immunity challenge, by the way, like where you answer questions, if you get it right, you get to hack down someone's rope and like their coconuts fall. I just thought that was stupid as an immunity challenge because it's just not fair. But it was a big part of this season because it showed where Pascal and Nalea stood in the pecking order, and that's when they flipped. They aligned themselves with Kathy, Vesepia, and Sean, and they just took down the entire Road to 4. From that point forward, there's literally nothing memorable about this season. It's so boring. Like, what is there to remember about that post-merge? I mean, Nalea and Pascal going on a cruise ship and Nalea bringing back a piece of mint candy in her mouth and she offers it to share it with the tribe. Stupid. And, of course, Kathy with the Snickers bar at the Final 9. And then, of course, the other big moment of this season, which I thought was so unfair, screwed Pascal over big time, Purple Rock. A lot of people think that's iconic. The problem is, it happened at the Final 4. If it had happened at, like, Final 6 or Final 7, even Final 5, I feel like it would have been better. But no, it happened at Final 4. And Pascal, who had no votes cast against him the entire game, all of a sudden, he goes home without having a single vote cast against him. So, yeah, I feel like that screwed up the whole thing. Of course, I did hear that Pascal probably would have been medevac the next day anyway. Apparently he collapsed and fainted, but he did come back, so that was fine. So he was fine. But a lot of people are saying he probably would have been medevac. But yeah, that Purple Rock twist, it showed why the fire-making challenge was a necessity in future seasons. Because it was just so unfair. Like, why didn't they do the quiz like in Africa? When Lindsay and Carl were tied that one tribal, they went to a quiz. Why didn't they do that? That's what I want to know. Or they didn't even go to previous votes cast against them, in which case, I mean, I don't know who had more votes cast against them, Nalea or Kathy. I think Kathy did, but correct me if I'm wrong, but I'm not entirely sure. But yeah, they had to go to this stupid Purple Rock twist, which it works in future seasons if it's not the Final 4. But at the Final 4, it just doesn't work. It screws over a player that wasn't even supposed to go home and probably made a huge impact on who ended up winning the season, if I'm being completely honest. And then, of course, after that, Vesepia, who had aligned herself with Kathy, the previous tribal, she ends up turning on Kathy and gives Nalea immunity in exchange for taking her to the Final 2. And then Vesepia ends up winning the season. And as a winner, Vesepia is a winner. I mean, she's not the worst winner ever. She's just kind of okay. I mean, she didn't really do anything for me. Yeah, she was an underdog, but she wasn't really an entertaining underdog. Not somebody like Spencer or Fabio, although Spencer didn't win, but Fabio, I guess, would be a better comparison. But yeah, not like Fabio, who was at least likable and entertaining. Vesepia was somewhat likable. She also leaned heavily on religion, which I thought was so irritating. Like, I really wish they wouldn't bring religion into Survivor. There's one season that does that big time. Oh, I can't wait till we get to that season, because that's going to be a rant for the ages. But yeah, like, the whole religion thing, I mean, Sean Rector is what keeps the season alive for me in the post-merge after the flip on the Road to 4. And honestly, it was so satisfying to see the Road to 4 fall like that, because they were so cocky, especially John and Tammy. Oh my god. Like, they were just not likable at all. General was kind of boring. Zoe was just playing, I feel like she was kind of playing both sides without actually playing both sides. I don't know. But, yeah, like, Zoe, I don't remember too much about Zoe. Kathy was a fun character. I mean, pee on my hand, where Kathy pees on John's hand because he got stung by a sea urchin. That was probably the most memorable thing about the pre-merge, other than the morning show. And then, but there's really nothing else. There is the loved ones visit. I think this was the first time that everybody's loved ones actually came out to the island. I mean, I know in Australia, Colby's mom came out, but I think this is the first season that actually had everyone's loved ones come out, I think. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I think it was. I don't even remember the loved ones visit that much. That's how boring this season is. There's not a lot to remember. The tribe swap, I mean, it was okay. It wasn't great. Vesepia is a winner. Again, not my favorite winner. And people on that damn jury were so bitter towards Nalea. It was ridiculous. Because Nalea flipped on them. Because, like, what else was Nalea supposed to do? Was she just supposed to ride along and then go out 5th or 6th? I'm sorry. Like, if I know I'm going to go out 5th or 6th, if I stick with an alliance, I'm going to flip to the minority alliance as well. So, yeah, screw you, John and Tammy, for getting so bitter towards her. For that. So, yeah. I mean, Tammy especially. Like, again, Tammy's jury speech, I don't think it's as bad as Sue's snake and rat speech. But, because at least she called out both of them instead of just one person. She wasn't bitter towards one. She was more bitter towards both of them. But, still, like, it showed how bitter she was. Same with John. Like, why the hell should I give you my vote? It was so condescending the way he said that. I mean, would I like John to come back for a future season? Maybe. I'm actually kind of surprised that he and Tammy haven't been asked back yet. But I wasn't really a fan of either of them. I mean, once Rob goes, it's pretty much all downhill from there. The season just takes a big nosedive. So, yeah, overall, my thoughts on Survivor Marquesas, it's not a season I would rewatch on a continuous basis. And it's definitely, like, it has its moments for sure. Like, I love the morning show. I thought that was awesome. The Maramu tribe was a lot of fun before the swap. Gabriel was good, was a good character. Sean Rector is probably the best character of the season. It introduced us to Rob. So I have to give the season credit for giving us things that made Survivor what it is today. Like, it added more to the show after seasons 1, 2, and 3. It added more. So I have to give credit where credit is due. It's a decent season in that remark, but just in terms of moments, casts, and like the overall winner, the outcome, it was just so boring. Like, there's really not a lot to remember. It's not the worst season ever, but it's not a very good season either. So, yeah. As for the score I'm going to give this season, I'm going to give Survivor Marquesas a 4 out of 10. And there's my thoughts on Survivor Marquesas. If you have seen Survivor Marquesas, what did you think about it? Let me know down in the comments below what you think of Survivor Marquesas. Do you like it? Do you hate it? It's a very polarizing season, so I could see it going both ways. But let me know what you think down below. Make sure to drop a thumbs up on this video if you enjoyed it, and make sure to subscribe to my channel for more videos to come in the future. Next week, oh boy, we got a fun season to talk about next week. I can't wait to get to that. But yeah, until that next video, once again, my name is the California Cougar. And always remember to stay California cool. Peace!